Alrighty, check, check, mic check. Just making sure that I am here and y'all can hear me. My chat is not connected. Give me a second. There we go. Alrighty. Got chat. I have my face. Got my code. Got my window. Got, looks like everything. I'm gonna try something. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. Alrighty, let's turn the music down just a little bit more. Okay, so I am very low. All right, let me. Microphone is up as high as it can go. Maybe I just need to get a little bit closer to it. How's that? Better? All right, so we have a functional clock. It starts, it pauses, Does it keep going? No. Yeah, it keeps going for some reason. And the stop button works. And I have been told that we need to make it look prettier now because it mostly functions, but it doesn't look as good as it could. So we're going to attempt to work on some animations, I guess. I am uncertain as to what I can do to make it good because I am more of a logic person than I am a display visual person. So but yeah, we're just going to try our best and see see what we can come up with. So let's go back to the index HTML. Alright, so show me my container. The container has all of that stuff. A random example from Behance or Dribble. Actually, what I was thinking about doing is, because we have our emojis that we've been using, so what I want to do is something simple, just take the current emoji and then put it like right up here above the counter, or maybe even down, no, we'll put it above, and then, I don't know, rotate it or something so it's moving. And then when it pauses, stop the movement. So it's just a little bit of animation, but it works. And then from there, we can always add more stuff. So we're gonna move this over here. I think what I want is, where's my container? Here's my container. Hands are off centered. Dot. Container before. And then that means that the container we're gonna need position relative, position absolute. Content is going to be, Pomodoro.js. We're just gonna go ahead and grab that. Okay, so put that up top. And then to center it above, left 50%. Transform, translate x minus 50%. That puts it dead center over the top. Excellent. Now, what if we did a background color of trying to find, let's do a gray? No, that looks horrible. Maybe we don't want a background color. And of course, font size, we're gonna want 3M. And the top is going to drop down to minus 1M. 1.5. 1.5M. There we go. So that way, we have our computer. Then what I'm going to do here is cycle emoji. So for index 0, which is the none, we have no emoji. For index 1, which is the main timer, we have the computer. For index 2, we have the coffee cup, and index 3, we have the sleepy face. Could have a bunch of emojis floating in the background. I'm sure I could, I just don't know how to do that. Do you have a link of somewhere where I could learn how to do that? Because that kind of sounds cool, just have them floating in the background, like a particle effect or something. So I know that I can then do some keyframe animations on here. Let me make the code big enough for you guys to see. I remember I've been told before that I had my code a little bit smaller, so. Okay, so from to, and then using CSS animations, here we go. So animation duration, film one direction, okay. So first off, we're going to add a simple at keyframe rotation from transform rotate 0 degrees to transform rotate 360 degrees. Then have animation name. We're going to put that here. Animation name is call it rotation. And okay, I see what you're saying. So literally just make a, so I'd be basically making my own particle emitter and having those float around. Which wouldn't be too bad. Okay, after I've configured animations timing, so animation duration, we'll say 5 seconds. We go over the document, refresh. Okay, so it is rotating. Excellent. For some reason though, it is off-centered? Oh, okay, because this transform is rotating, but I still have the transform translate X here. That's being used to center it. I mean, it's a little bit of a stretch, but it's kind of what you're asking me to do, Ragnar, is just create elements and then animate them on the screen and then move them around as necessary, which is basically what a particle system does. So alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep this translate X. Nope, that didn't work. How do I keep one transform but rotate the other? All right, transform. Because I thought if I just do the translate X here, it should keep it. There you go. So we have to do the translate X first. That was what I was doing wrong. Okay. Alrighty, so just gonna go ahead and update that. Okay, that one works. I'm just making sure the various emojis look good while rotating. Okay, so we have that working. Let's go back to animation real quick. So I want it to continually rotate nonstop. But what is the default? You know what? Animatables. All right. Animation timing function. I want linear. Because right now it kind of goes fast and slows down to the end, and I don't think I want that. So if we just do linear, it should be a consistent rotation. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. All right, so now that I have that, take this on time change, then call this on cycle change. Alrighty. So then when the cycle changes, where's my check cycle? Okay, so in here, I need to emit the cycle change, which will then be hooked into my emoji here. I'm just kind of looking at it real quick, thinking about having a bunch of emoji particles floating in the background. Because the rotation is kind of lame. And that idea of having the all the various smaller emojis kind of floating around sounds fun, but then I would have to really figure out how to make the most out of this animation. I need gradients. No, we're not going to do gradients. Interesting. In steps, huh? Bezier curves. Excellent. Linear functions, sub-functions, easing functions, animate at even speed, default value, increasing velocity toward the middle of the animation, slowing back at the end, starts slowly, increasing till complete, starts quickly, slowing down, animation starts slow, speed up, then slows down. Cubic Bezier curves. I know they're fun, but I don't know them well enough. Oh, that's kind of fun. Look at that. Some cool animations. Bezier. Okay, that's actually kind of cool. And you can't see it because the chat is in the way, but trust me, it was fun. Yeah, let's hide chat real quick. And just watch this. Ready, set, go. Play animation. The last one bounced out and came back in. That was cool. Okay, so we're not going to do anything that fancy because that would be excessive. But yeah, this animation timing function page has a lot of stuff. Holy cow. Okay. So I'm just wondering if I were to create a bunch of emojis on the page, just kind of like, I don't know, put like 20 of them or something and have them, it'd be easy to just have them float up from the bottom to the top with like some random duration. So then it would be fairly easy to have a from, you know, bottom 0 to top 100 or whatever, you know, 100 VH. Start at the bottom at 100 VH and then go all the way up to 0 and then have it like jump somewhere else and start over at different durations. So maybe we should do that. I'm just wondering the best way to go about it, because I know we're going to want some keyframes on there. I'm going to want to have, I don't know, just span maybe? A div? Doesn't really matter because it would be outside of the document flow. I mean, at this point, I might as well just use JavaScript to paint it directly to the screen, but without a canvas, I can't just draw it directly to the screen, so I'd have to have an element to muck around with. See, Ragnar, this is all your fault. I would have just been happy with the spinning computer screen and be done with it, but no, you're like, hey, let's make it fancy. So we're going to get rid of that. Going to get rid of that. Gonna get rid of that. All right. Start. It's counting down. Stop. Okay. Yeah, it's way easier with CSS. Yeah, I'm thinking I'll just create like 10 elements with a specific class on them and then use that to animate it. Yes, I'm complaining that you make my stream exciting and entertaining. You are very rude. I would say stop it, but I don't want you to stop, so keep going. Alright, so we are apparently new file. We're going to call this one particles.js. From document dot query selector all. We're going to use a data set here. Actually, no, we can use a class because, yeah. I want Folder Explorer. There we go. Some query selector all particles. Actually, no. What I want is array.from we'll start with 10 particles. Then map. So here we're creating the particles. Particle equals document dot create excuse me, create element div p dot class list dot add, I think. All right, let's see if this is actually doing what I think it's doing. Let's just do the logging here, so we don't need to worry about here. Open up the console, save this, save this. And for some reason, okay, so because I am a silly dodo brain, I forgot to return the particle. Okay, so I was correct. So I now have So I have 10 particles, and what I need to do is okay, now I'm thinking I need to make a custom particle element instead of doing it this way. So that way I can tell it to update the, you know what, no, this is fine. This is fine for now. I don't need to go too crazy. What I do need to do, however, is text content equals, just gonna grab that. All right, so I have, my content is, I need to add them to the DOM first, Ragnar, before I do the rest with CSS, and I don't know how I would, because what I want to do is add them to the DOM and then set them at random points between 0 VW and like, or probably like do, you know, between 10 and 90 VW. Then at least that way it would, if I use a pseudo attribute with content, I can change the icon with CSS instead of doing a lot of DOM updates. Okay. So if we go into our, so I don't need to do that then. So we're gonna come here, we're gonna go all the way to the bottom, particle, position, absolute, because we do not want them to be we don't want it to be part of the DOM. Content is that. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the export particle list. I'm going to get rid of that. Yeah, so particle list dot for each particle, what I'm going to do is document dot, do I want append child? Is that the one? So I'm just using this right now to put them in the DOM. Translate. Oh, baseline 2023, nice. Because what I want to do is, oh, it's not translate that I'm looking for. Because what I want, my div. Then where is my, okay, here's my DOM interface. I want to find, how do I actually put it somewhere? It's an HTML element. A lot of read-only, outer popover, spell check, style. Events, drag and drop, toggle, nothing there. So let's see what the element provides. Class name, ID, blah, 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 blah. Is this what I'm looking for? Scroll top gets or sets the number of pixels by which an element's content is scrolled from its top edge. No. Is that what you're talking about there, Ragnar? So if I look at the body, oh, I am kind of silly because I did not import particles. Does not provide an export because I just need can I just do an empty list? Only one element on document allowed. Okay, so I can't just document.append. Oh, you know what? It's because I need document.body.append. There we go. There are all of my particles right there in the center. Okay. So what I'm looking for exactly is I'm looking for how I set the x and y coordinates on the node. Looking for how to randomly tell it where to be on the screen. Or is this where I need to start with a CSS and then have it like do a calc, a random? See if I do top 0, left 50%. Use a custom property on each element to have a random value if I want. Yes, but how do I place it on the screen at that random value? I'd like to hard code it first just so I can do it. Or is it as simple as transform, translate? And I bet you that this needs to be here. Yep, okay. But that's VW. Okay. Whoops. Okay, so that's what I need. So what I'm going to do is now that I have it there, I need to nope, wrong button. Okay, data set. This is what I want. Using data attributes. This is what I want. HTML, JavaScript access. So p dot dataset dot h for horizontal. And then v for vertical. If we go looking back in here, and I read property of undefined data set. Yeah, I am already very sad. Cannot read properties of undefined reading data sets. Am I spelling that right? Yes, underscore P. Thank you. Okay, so now, excellent. And then we are just going to math dot round this bad boy. And then we'll do the same over here. So that way we're getting whole numbers between 0 and 99%. Might want to remove the P altogether. How would I remove it altogether? I need that as the element that I'm creating. I need to do all this stuff because. Okay, and then if we go into styles.css, we can do calc of 1 VW times attribute data horizontal. Yes? No. Oh, line 2 up here. Yeah, I could probably do something else. That's why I was having problems down there. You know what? Yeah, because I'm just... Boom. There we go. Okay. So... So now... I have to figure out how to get that attribute so I can add it in here. Maybe you can help me, Ragnar, how to get the, because I thought it was ATTR to get the attribute. I can't use attribute in calc yet? What? So how am I supposed to get the... Has not shipped in any browser, so how am I supposed to do attribute, calculate this number times VW? Can I do this? Will that work? No, that didn't work either. So do I still need to use JavaScript then to update the location? So I can't just do it all in CSS, can I? So you lied to me, buddy. You said that I could... Oops, not that. CSS animation. Okay. I am looking for... Oh, I have to have a random starting point and then animate with CSS. Okay. I do not know CSS whatsoever. I don't think this is right. Okay, so what I want to do instead of all this, I think I want p dot style dot left set CSS property with JavaScript. There we go. No, that's custom properties. Set property. Okay. CSS dot set property of left equal to BW. Set property is not a function. Like that. There we go. Excellent. All right, so math dot. So we're going to do a math dot floor 80, and then we're going to add 10. So that's going to clamp it between 10 and 90. Then we're going to copy this and put it here, but it's going to be top, and then we're going to do VH. Boom, look at that. Okay, excellent. We are cooking with gas. So now I need to keyframe floating emoji from to okay, from to, okay, that's right. Induction is better than what? I have no idea what that means. You'll have to be a little bit more, yeah, I have no idea what you mean by induction is better than that. Induction is better, oh, induction, yep. Okay, now we're cooking with gas, induction is better than gas, I gotcha. Okay, so we have animation is, name is floating emoji. Animation duration is 5 seconds. Animation timing function is linear. Okay, from so what are we gonna be doing? Oh, so we're just gonna take it from where it is up to transform, translate y. Can we calc in here? $100 VW minus, no, I can't translate y to, heck, no, top -5 VH. So that should, okay, so the -5 VH is taking it off the screen. 5 VH. And then if we change this to say 2 seconds, but they're all going at the same, so maybe I don't want linear in here, because then they're all so then they're all still arriving at roughly the same time. So I need to have random durations for each, which is fine. We can do random duration because p dot dataset dot speed equals math dot random times 3, and then hopefully we can attribute data speed. No, it does not like that. So I want to set different speed based for each. Because I don't want them all to be the same speed. So how do I attribute only returns strings currently, yeah, which is a bummer. So how do I have varying animation speeds? Because I want them to custom properties for all the random stuff. Okay. So instead of that, I want to that's set property of dash dash speed of math dot random times 3. Then in style CSS animation duration var speed. All right, now what? Oh, right. Var speed times 1 second. And then they are going back to the beginning. So I need animation fill mode? I think that's what I need. here. Okay, good. So, and then we're going to increase this. We're going to double it. Oh, look at those two. They're like going so slow. Okay. One thing I want to do is capacity 80%? 75%. Yeah, so they're there, but they're not obnoxious. I don't want it to be full 100% opaque. I want them to be translucent some. All right, so once the animation finishes, does it throw out okay, we can use animation event when an animation starts, finishes, and begins a new iteration. Cool. Animation event represents an event providing information. Animation name. I don't want related pages. I want the animation to, okay. So what I'm going to do is here at the bottom, we're going to create a particles div, and then here, instead of body.append, query selector, actually screw it, particles, because any ID is a JavaScript variable. So putting them all inside this particle. So then, oh, I feel really bad doing this because like this entire module script is nothing but side effects. Particles dot add events listener. So what are my animation events? I want animation end. Animation end, E, console.log, E. All right, we'll go back here, open up the console. Okay. You'll have to return a setup function, no biggie. Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do, const randomize particle location. It's going to take in a particle. And what are we going to do? All of this. Randomize particle location P. Okay, that all works. Randomize particle location P dot, whoops, I want E dot target. And so, because, silly me, except they are just respawning, but they're not continuing, so I need, what is it, infinite, continuous, oh wait, not animation, fill mode, animation, iteration count, infinite, okay, that's what I need. Holy crud! That one's going really fast, and I don't know why. There we go. So now after it finishes, okay, there's still that one though. What is up with that one? Okay, there's this one here. It's just, it's not. Then again, I'm not seeing any of these update. Oh, I don't like the style because it actually literally adds it to. It says adding an inline style tag. Which one is going crazy? That one. So I'm just going to click on this one to follow it. Okay. Okay, so it's just overriding that. I guess I don't need the from since it's just starting where it's at. It's just that, oh, there's always one. Why is that one going crazy? I don't like it, Sam. I do not like it. But low animation. But the thing is, it should be resetting the speed and the properties and everything should be changing. So it's just, it's in the same spot, which is the weird thing because it's not actually going anywhere. Yeah, the duration. But it's like. Maybe I don't want iteration count infinite. Because animation delay. Huh, maybe we should set an animation delay. Animation delay. Just a short one to cause it to just kind of. Nope, it's still going crazy. It's just delaying a little bit. What the heck? So when I stop them, so they are randomly being, duration ranges from 0 to 6, so if the duration is like 0.1, it'll do 10 animations in a second. Oh. Yes, but it's in seconds, so as long as it's not 0. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying, is that because with the animation iteration, it's how, okay. So I don't want animation duration. Or I don't want the iteration count. Yeah, there's no animation speed is 1 divided by duration. There is no animation speed, so I need to set animation play state to running? Is that what I need to do? If I get rid of this delay. No, I don't want to save this one. I'm going to save that. So the iteration is causing it to go over and over until the duration has elapsed. So it was just going super fast, which means I need to not iterate. I do not know anything about any of these animation. I just want it to keep going infinitely, but I don't want to iterate. Fill mode. Or do I want to have the duration be 1 divided by speed? That will give me an actual single one second divided by speed, and then do that. Yeah, because these are going really fast, so the question is, if I just do math.random, okay, that one's going way too slow. Yeah, some of them are going way too slow for it to be a simple math.random. Honestly, if we just do that, then it's just 1 iteration, and every time it resets, it keeps going. Which means, let's double the number of particles. Oh, but those slow ones are really slow. So what if we do a minimum of, say, 0.2 or, no, not a min, sorry. If we do a max, well, I broke something. Math.max. No, but that's not working because they're still just going to the same place. I want to do a complete reset. So I don't want to iterate. That's the issue, is that I don't want to iterate. I just want to set it to running once everything is reset. So do I need to do that? No, because it's still just putting them in a random spot. Because I don't, having this iteration count is just causing them to be in the same spot. It's not actually randomized, it's just an initial randomization, and it's not going anywhere. So how, help me out here, Ragnar, you're my only hope. How do I do this? Do I need to re-add the animation? Okay, so what I want to do, because right now, if I put this animation iteration count infinite, if you look down here, none of these are changing. So they are just constantly starting in the same spot. So it's not actually it's initially setting their location randomly and the speed randomly, but then it's just doing that once, even after I randomize the location. They are not changing the location because I have this iteration count infinite, so it's just going through the same place over and over again. And I don't want that. I want it to re-add. So maybe what I need to do is set property animation name floating emoji. So if I'm re-adding the animation, no. So as you saw, so these are adding in, you can see how these are all changing after the animation has ended. And the music stopped. Sorry about that, I think. So as you can see, these are all flashing, saying that they're changing locations and speed and everything. But if I have the iteration count infinite, none of these properties are changing, so it's just redoing the same animation over and over and again. So it's not actually randomizing. So I'm thinking I need to do everything in JavaScript. Is that what's happening? All right. I've been streaming long enough that my headphones died, so I'm just going to take them out, which is going to pause the music again. Then we'll hit play. Okay. The only property I might need to update in JavaScript is the X position at the start. I also need to let the Y be 0 and randomize the height by having a starting delay. Okay, here's an idea. Check this out. All right, so I am going to make particle here. Oops. P equals make particle, randomize particle location. All right, so document dot. No, what are you doing? Query selector. Particles dot remove child e dot target. Make particle. Particles dot append p. Particles dot add child. No, child. See if we append child. No, because I need div element. So for the, what is it, element, should be able to add might help if I spell it wrong, right? But no, A P P E N D. Cannot read property of undefined reading set property. Well, that's just weird. Because I need to call that as a function. Okay. Particles dot append p. That's because I am a silly Billy again. Alright, so that is creating a bunch of particles over and over and over again. This is not working the way I was hoping it would, because now it's not setting the properties. This should probably go here. There we go. Except let's just ham-fist it here for a second. Okay, so every time one is removed from the DOM, we're creating a new one. So for some reason, just peek at what pen did you? You say peek at the pen. What pen? You want to send me the link? I haven't seen a link. Yeah, that's a lot of update. That's what I want to avoid, because I just want to update. Linked in a few message above. I'm not seeing a link. maybe YouTube chat caught it and put it as the like a don't allow kind of thing. It's like, oh, there's a link. I should probably not let it go through. I don't know how to check. Does that make me a bad streamer? I don't know how to check. Sent it on Discord. Okay. Copy link. Paste link. Okay. Top -2, left is 0. Animation up. Rotation. You have 150 in there. Okay. Linear. Infinite rotation. So are all of these but are they yeah, so this is just creating 150 particles. Y, seed 1, seed 2, return particle, console log array, okay, absolute, top left, animation, before keyframe up. Why is it called keyframe up if they're falling downward? Duration is fixed, but the delay is random. So from X 0 to 100. Okay, so it's translated as the X and Y. And it's rotate 1 turn. So we're doing up, which is actually falling downward. But they're not changing location. They're just going through the same, because the X and Y positions are being set once. And then you're just pretty much doing this here. And then so it's just kind of like that, where they're just creating and they're just resetting their initial location. They're not actually the same Y, yeah. That's what I was hoping to avoid. That's what I was hoping to change, is have it be different Y value. And so what I need to do instead is, so set property top, because right now they're just starting at random places. I want them to start toward the bottom instead of a random place between, you know, 10 and 90 VH. Could animate the Y with another animation at the same time. Yeah, I could. Actually, it would be kind of cool is if I could do like a sine wave. So they're kind of going side to side on their way up. Can I do that in CSS, or do I need JavaScript for that? Because I know there's like a sine and cosine function. But do I... Either way, the first thing we're going to do is the top is going to be, let's just say negative 10 VH. Not negative 10 VH, 110 VH. Wow. That look at all of those. They're all in sync. So what I need to do is, let's just do 90. Yeah, with sine and cosine, I could have them be all wavy, random, and such. That's a lot of them just starting all at the same time. Okay, so here's an interesting. Minus times 1 VH times negative 1 VH. No, that's not doing what I wanted it to do. It's trying to do, get it to be, to scroll an entire viewport width so that they would, so instead of having like all of those pop back at the same time, like right there, just have them go, instead of going to the same spot at negative 20 VH above, that I would have a, I should be able to do that, right? Start with top minus 100 top times 1 VH minus 120? No. Okay, so you have a delay. Is that what this here is? Is that a delay? So I should probably set a delay of max.random or math.random, then style CSS R delay times 1 second. Something like that. If the delay is negative. Okay, I like that. Let's drop this to 70% opacity because I don't want it to be taking up too much. I mean, it's obnoxious, but it's animated. Instead of having the top be random. Yeah. The top is just 90, so like everything is. But see, if I do that, there's still a bunch of them starting all at once. Even though the delay is. And then, boom. So at least it only is like, when it first starts, it's boom. The delay range needs to be the same as the duration. So this needs to match that. Maybe I should have this be a calculation. The delay range needs to be the same as the duration. Whatever. That works good enough for now. And it is quite obnoxious. So I am going to take my particles and add a z index of -1. So therefore it goes behind everything instead of being on top. All right, and just like that, we have an obnoxious animation. Well, thanks for helping me out with that, Ragnar, because I would not have been able to do that by myself. Alrighty, but I do think that it has been, if you like to have random duration of 5 to 10 seconds, the delay should be 0 to 5. Achievement got animations, yes. So we're going to sign off on this. I mean, it's working. It's not the prettiest thing, but it's animating. Maybe I should throw in that rotation like you have in the code pen. Just do that rotation. So if I could do, what did you have? Take one turn. Look at that. Okay, even better. All right, well, I do say thank you, Ragnar, for your assistance in this matter. I would not have been able to get even close to this much without you. So, yeah, we'll try this again next week and see if we can make it go better. See you then.